You know, a lot of Atlanta is moved so far north in Fayette County. I mean, I grew up in College Park and in Fayetteville. Went away to school and came back, and I've worked in Atlanta my whole career.
Yeah,
so
you're an Auburn grad.
I am an Auburn grad.
Oh, okay, so this is kind of getting back.
Getting close.
Yeah, you've probably been to Columbus before, I'm sure.
I have been to Columbus a lot of times. Yeah, so it is. It's a great town to visit, and you know we've got such a terrific workforce down here. I really like coming down here. But
how often do you get down?
I get down probably at least once a month.
Oh, really?
Out of the office, at least once a month, if not once every 6 weeks. And I'll work one day. You know, we've got the Warm Springs Road office and now the Midland office. It'll be exciting when we kind of combine and have a brand new building. And I think there's a lot of excitement from our staff certainly to get that going.
Yeah, you guys have a lot going on.
That'll be a big capital investment for us. We have a lot going on indeed. We're healthcare reform, exchanges, changes that continue, keep us busy. There's no shortage of issues to solve.
Well, I was going to, that's actually we're with Morgan Kendrick here, president of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Georgia. How many employees and kind of just overall your presence in Georgia?
In our presence in Georgia, we serve citizens in all 159 counties. So we work exclusively within the geographic boundaries of the state of Georgia. We've got roughly 4,000 associates across the state, with our major sites being Atlanta, Columbus, and then an operations center down in Savannah as well. But you know, we've been in the business 76 years. So we've got lots of history here. I think that plays very well to our strengths as far as how we communicate with providers, how we communicate with our elected officials, as well as our customers.
And how many folks do you insure? And I presume that's a growing number.
It is a growing number. In fact, our growth has been rather significant with the acquisition of the State Health Benefit Plan, which occurred January 1, 2014, and that sort of in a box of its own was about 40,000 lives, with the teachers and all the state employees across the state, which we're very pleased to have the opportunity to continue to serve. But we've got roughly 2.9 million covered lives in the state of Georgia. If you look at the momentum that I believe the Southeast has, in particular Georgia, with its growth and business-friendly environment, we see it a big opportunity for the individual market as well. Because we do believe that over time there's going to be a rather marked shift to more of a consumer oriented healthcare market rather than a employer-driven healthcare market over time. I certainly don't think that's going to happen right away. But with that said, it certainly really increases the opportunity for us in that individual market.
So you expect employers to basically push the coverage onto the employees and give them stipends, or? You know,
I think over time, certainly. I think that's an opportunity. I mean, predicting the velocity in which that would occur and when that would occur is very hard. But, you know, we saw this with the retirement business, you know, when you went from a defined contribution strategy from an employee base to a defined benefits, or defined benefit to a defined contribution strategy where you were given dollars and matches, etc. I don't see why that wouldn't occur in the healthcare space. You know, we certainly talk about private exchanges. That's really what that is, an opportunity for people to fix their cost. I mean, we know that healthcare is just unaffordable. I do believe, however, that over time, you know, it'll be a decision that, you know, I'll make, my coworker will make a different one perhaps, all with perhaps stipends from our organization, the same with all of us. I mean, I don't see that it would be terribly different from property and casualty or auto insurance. It's sometime in the future. We've got a ways to get there, and certainly the higher end of the market, the larger employers, I think will be the last to follow in that route.
Has it been frustrating for you guys with all the changes? It seems like one after another, and yesterday the extension of
grandfathering
up to 2 years on older policies.
Right.
Will you guys take part in that, or can you take part in that?
We can. You know, to answer your question, I mean, I wouldn't go quite to frustrating, given that it was expected. I mean, I think, you know, Congress was very accurate when they indicated that you have to pass the law and then read the law after it was passed originally in 2010. So the idea is we, you know, as it is unfolding and as it's being implemented, we're certainly seeing opportunities to better the law and make it easier for the market. And I think that's one of the administration's attempts here. So the most recent rules that came down, which basically pushed the employer mandate for the 51 to 99 business out to 2016, which had already been pushed from 14 to 15. You know, all of these are at the discretion of the state and then the issuer. As it relates to the grandfathering as well. So, you know, policies were grandfathered until 2014. Now we can grandfather them for additional 3 years, again at the discretion of the state and the issuer. I would tell you it would be my suspicion that we would participate in that. So that would be our desire. And It'll be then Commissioner Hudgens' perspective to whether that's allowed at the state level or not, which I would expect him to allow that, given his position thus far in allowing people to keep what they had.
Yeah.
And we've had various rounds of this and shifts and changes, and we had a great deal of our business that elected to grandfather and keep what they had, because certainly when you look at the market before healthcare reform and the market where we are today, the products are a bit different, the networks are a bit different, and so those that had the old products, perhaps those that aren't subsidy eligible, really liked what they had and wanted to hang on to it. This allows them another 36 months to do that. And of course, my thought is like with anything, if you don't like what's happening today, just hold on for a minute. There will be a change forthcoming.
So, and I understand that the state health plan that you were talking about earlier.
Sure.
How is that going out? And is Columbus, will they be processing or administering that plan?
It is.
Is that the way it works?
It is, and that's been a terrific win for us. We lost that business back in 2009. We went through a very competitive bid process and were awarded the business this past year, and we implemented it for January the 1st. It was, in my opinion, one of the best executed implementations that I've seen, and I've been with the company for 19 years. We hired 900 people, opened a brand new building here in Columbus out in Midland, put brand new technology into that building, and all of it came up seamlessly and flawlessly. We took the extra measured steps and going to outside consultants to validate the claim processing and things of that nature. All of it has gone very well. So our relationship with the state is exceptionally solid from my perspective. All of the feedback that we receive, and I'm very close to it, as you can imagine, has been positive. So that's been a real win for us. Across the state, I like to think of us as an organization of Georgians serving Georgians. We are all here, and all of our operations, fortunately, are within the state of Georgia. So as our organization grows, it's additional job growth here in these geographies also. All of the claim, the claim and call functions are done in Midland, and we've got roughly 400 associates. And then we have the executive offices, and there's probably 3 or 4 that manage the state health benefit plan, as well as all of our clinical operations are done in Atlanta. And then we have an electronic connection between the two to where it's almost a virtually integrated unit between the 2 offices. But we can capitalize on our great work down here in Columbus and then marry that up with our big, strong nurse workforce in the Atlanta market and really, really serve the state in a very valuable way.
But who's, for Columbus's benefit, that you guys run through that contract and keep the contract, because so many, if you were to lose it, we could lose.
Indeed, certainly that's one of our objectives. The state looks at that as well. I'm sure when they're making their financial decisions. We bring a very efficacious solution to the state. These are taxpayer dollars, my dollars, your dollars, at work to serve our state health benefit employees. And it does. Columbus is a big piece of that. We've had big growth. We've got a big capital investment coming into this market with our new building, which we hope to break ground on in August of this year. So we're very excited about that. And, it's my job to, I certainly understand. I have no right to the business. We serve at the pleasure of our customer, and it's my intent to hold this business much longer than 5 years. In fact, we supported the state for 32 years prior to us losing it in 2009. So it's my job to make sure that we continue to hone our assets and we deliver value for the state. And if that's indeed the case, I expect us to have this for many, many years, which indeed does benefit the Columbus market.
And obviously, summer 2015, you should be opening up.
That is the plan. It's a compressed timeline. In fact, I'm meeting with our corporate real estate folks this Friday to sort of talk through the bid process. We had a competitive bid process where many vendors submitted proposals for the work, and those were delivered 2 weeks ago. I'm expecting to hear some feedback as a result of that bid process, and then the next steps going forward, because I know it's a very compressed timeline to name a vendor, a notice of award, and then move forward, breaking ground this summer, and then being in that building sometime summer of 15. So it's certainly exciting.
How much are you guys going to invest in it?
It's roughly a $50 million capital investment in the market, so it's not insignificant.
So you guys are footing the whole $50 billion?
We're working with that. We've got certainly incentives and various pieces that go with it, but it's a big piece. It's our money. I mean, we're doing a lease, build to lease with the actual developers. So part of this will be the disposition of our Warm Springs Road facility, which we own.
And when you guys made the announcement, basically, was there really any chance that you could have gone anywhere else? I think you may have mentioned it, or the city officials were mentioning it, that you guys had looked around. Was it really?
Well, sure. The issue is, this is not just a Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia facility. WellPoint Inc. owns Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia, and we're the second largest healthcare company in America, and we operate 14 different Blue Cross Blue Shield companies, all of which have operation centers within them. So we had the opportunity to look at Nevada or California or Colorado or any of the Midwestern markets, as well as New England, Virginia. Columbus has always done very well from an efficiency perspective and a cost perspective for us and a quality perspective. So unlike this year, we have very few snow days typically in this market, so it's a very financially advantageous market for us. We certainly, and I think bringing up the state helped us, because we saw what a talented, progressive, productive workforce we had here, and how many individuals we had seeking employment in this market, and it played very well. So when you look at efficiency, quality, Columbus sort of rose to the top and made the cut for WellPoint to make this big investment. So this is not just a Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia investment. We're in a position to where we're actually paying claims for our other Blue Cross companies within the WellPoint umbrella. And as we look at consolidating operation sites, which you have to do in the new world to be more and more efficient, it certainly makes sense that this could indeed be an area for additional growth. So
the Georgia operation is actually taking business from some other states?
That is correct. That's been happening. That's been happening for years, and the efficiency and quality of that work is what's risen Columbus to the top. So that, coupled with economic tax advantages and the fact that, again, we're the #1 state in America to do business with from a business perspective, a business-friendly community, it made absolute sense for WellPoint to make that large investment here in this geography.
All right, and I guess how do you see ACA rolling out over the next 2 or 3 years? Is it glitch-free? Do you think things will smooth out?
Glitz-free, no. I don't think it'll be glitz-free. I think that's kind of aspirational. I do think it will continue to roll out. I think it will continue to change as we move along, and I think it will get better. I really do. I believe. I am very optimistic about our business. I mean, I've been with the company for 19 years, and I'm as bullish on our future now as I was then. I think it's a terrific part of a shift in our healthcare delivery model across America, and sort of being right in the bullseye of it is exciting. So when we, 20, 30 years from now, sit back and retire, we can say, as this business shifted, we were part of it. I think we've got a terrific healthcare model here in America, and I do believe it's going to change. There's going to be more government subsidies into the acquisition of healthcare for individuals, and this will, in my opinion, get better over time. That is my belief.
And we'd like to say that politics shouldn't influence healthcare, but it does.
It does.
Do we need to go through another election? And I mean, should a Republican be elected in the next presidency? Any chance of it rolling back, or parts of it rolling back? What's your thoughts?
I think things can always be rolled back, modified, flexed. But I mean, I think a lot of aspects of ACA are very positive. The fact that individuals that couldn't previously buy insurance, whether they could afford it or not because of pre-existing condition, now can. The fact that medical underwriting prevented people from acquiring health care, now it cannot. You can keep your children on your plan to age 26. The fact that you have the ability to have preventive coverage on your plan, which is a mandate. I mean, these are all good things in my opinion. There's certainly the large debate was around the 46 or some odd million Americans that were uninsured, and that's a big problem. It's a strain on all of the premium paying public in our hospitals, et cetera, in our physicians' offices. But when you start dialing back those that could buy insurance and elected not to, those that were eligible for public assistance and chose not to participate in it or weren't aware of it, the actual number of those that were truly medically underserved, if you will, that needed insurance and didn't have access, that number was much smaller. We think it was probably more in the 10 to 12 million range. So that we were solving for something that had a much bigger number on it publicly, which the number was much smaller, quite honestly, in my opinion. And I do believe there's an opportunity to sort of keep the best of what ACA is delivering, and it's very hard once it's been rolled out to sort of repeal some of these programs. But nonetheless, there's very positive things about it, and I think that's what I expect to see over time. Interestingly, with the decisions that were released yesterday, they take us past the 2016 elections when plans change again, and so we certainly will go through another cycle, and we'll have to determine what happens at that point in time. But things will certainly need to smooth out. Americans will need to get more comfortable with what the programs look like, and time will certainly tell.
Of course, we have the current enrollment deadline coming up March 31st. What would you like to say to the folks who have not?
I would say we need to enroll now or March 31st.
Even with the puny penalty.
Right. I would say if this is a good time to enroll. If someone missed the deadline, they will not have the opportunity to enroll again unless there's a qualifying event, which are similar to the qualifying events today to join a plan, the birth or death, adoption of a child, marriage, divorce, things of that nature. Nonetheless, this date's been out there for some time, so I expect people to understand they've got another 2 or 3 weeks to get the enrollments done. So I would encourage them to go to healthcare.gov and make their choices if indeed it's appropriate for their family.